It is 6 p.m. and it's time to start the Temple City Unified School District's regular meeting of the Board of Education. So we'll call that to order. Let me go ahead and do a roll call. I'm here. Member Georgino?
Here.
Member Sneed?
Here.
Member Lynn is absent today, and he did share that at our last meeting, so he will not be here. Member Smith?
Yes, I'm here.
And then we don't have student board member Kiana Lee until later. We will go on to item 3, which is public comment on closed session agenda items. Do we have any public comment for closed session?
No, we don't.
Okay. So moving on to item 4, we will be going to closed session, and in closed session, we will be discussing personnel matters under Government Code 54957, public employee appointment, discipline, dismissal, and release. And item number 2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9, subdivision D for one case. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn to closed session?
So moved.
Okay, motion by member
Second.
Smith, second by member Georgino. Let's go for the roll call vote. I'm a yes. Member Smith,
Yes.
member Georgino,
Yes.
and member Sneed.
Yes.
Okay, so that passes 4-0, and we will adjourn to closed session. See you on the other side.
Hi, Ellen. Hi, everybody. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Marie.
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Thanks for showing up today.
Get out of there.
There's a lot of people on here.
Jerry, you have a cheering section behind you.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Love it.
All 1,000 of them.
There's 10,000 of you.
Yes. And that's my assistant, Terry Lynn, standing up in the back there.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Good to see you, Richard. You're looking well.
Thank you, Jerry. It's been a long time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
welcome-
I
welcome
echo
back.
that. Welcome back. I echo that.
Thank you. I've honestly missed this, so I'm glad I'm back.
Oh, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay. We have, we're counting down here. Okay. It is 7 p.m. and the board, we are reconvening to the open session, the regular board meeting of the Temple City Unified School District. And may I get a motion to reconvene?
I move we reconvene.
Okay, motion by member Sneed, second.
I'll second.
Second by member Georgino. We'll do a roll call vote. Member Sneed,
Yes.
member Georgino,
Yes.
member Smith,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. And that vote passes 4-0. Please note, Dr. Lynn is not with us today, and that was planned. We knew about that from our last meeting. All right, I will move on to item number 7, which is the announcement that tonight's meeting is being digitally recorded. And now we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, item number 8, led by member Smith.
Please rise. Place your hand over your heart. And ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, member member Smith, sorry. Okay. So now we'll move on to item number 9, announcements of actions taken in closed session. We had no actions. We will move on to item number 10, which is changes to the agenda. Does anyone have any suggested changes to the agenda? No. Hearing nothing, I will move on to item number 11, which is approval of the agenda by roll call vote. May I get a motion and a second?
I'll move.
Okay, I think motion by member Smith, second by member Georgino. And let's start with the preferential vote from student board member Lee.
Yes.
Yes. Member Georgino,
Yes.
member Smith,
Yes.
I'm a yes, and member Sneed.
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes 4-0. And we will now move on to item number 12, special recognition and presentation by Larosa Elementary. Do we have Principal Heredia with us today?
Hi, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm just going to start sharing my presentation, if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Good evening, Temple City Unified School District Board members and cabinet members. It is an honor to be back with you all and to be here to share all the great things that are happening at Larosa. I want to start by saying that today we have an exciting presentation where we will be focusing on literacy, technology, and how we are creating and developing the future of tomorrow. Joining me today, we have our fabulous library media technology specialist, Ms. Dee Moreno. And along with her, we have two special presenters, two Larosa students, two Larosa rascals, who will also be sharing some feedback about their experiences here at Larosa. With that said, I did want to start that we just have 4 points that we really wanted to review. Just literacy. Our focus is to develop strong readers to become strong leaders. We're excited about our Mac Lab and being an fully open and accessible for classroom visits. And also it is now open for after school coding program. In addition to that, we have classroom coding lessons, whether it be code.org, Scratch, or WeDo's, and more information will be provided. And I also want to share about our innovation or Makers Room, which is a time to create, design, and build. Literacy, it's all about read, read, read. It's exciting not only to see our little readers read with each other, not only pair reading, read aloud, whether it be small group instruction, but we really want to foster the love of reading. And we do that through various experiences at school. And I'm going to be passing the baton off to Ms. Dee. Mrs. Moreno, are you there? I think you're muted.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, this is our library and we are very proud of it. We have a wide variety of books. We have, the fiction, nonfiction, biography, chapter books, graphic novels, picture books, and we are very proud of our collection here. We also subscribe to the Junior Library Guild. The Junior Library Guild is based on our preferences and our students' needs, and our budget, of course. And so every month we get about 13 brand new books that are customized to Larosa. Weekly classroom visits. All the classrooms come to the library, and they're in here for about 45 minutes. Our books are also leveled to go along with the Accelerated Reader. And we do have the Accelerated Reader program. Oops.
Sorry.
Okay, and we also have Star Reading that's available for our students also. Okay, library activities. Not only do our students check out books here, we do offer activities. We have Legos. When we celebrated 100th day, we gave the students 100 pieces of Legos, and they had to build with just 100 pieces of Legos. And as you can see at the top, there is one of our students built 100 days out of Legos, and then another student built the year 2022. And then we had another young man that built 2 Legos. And so that's how we celebrated 100th day in the library. We also offer puzzles too, and we offer Bee-Bots. Bee-Bot is an educational robot. It's the perfect tool for teaching sequencing, estimation, problem solving, and just to have fun. We also have Osmos. Osmo makes hands-on learning games in which students use real objects to interact with the app on their iPad. And then we have the Ozobot. Ozobot is probably the smallest robot, but it's a great tool to teach basics of programming. Now, this is our reading incentive program. This is what we do every year, and we have a different theme. This year is Discover the Magic of Reading, and you can see our bulletin board. It's not promoting gambling, it's promoting magic. And so, this reading incentive program is sponsored by the library and is designed to encourage more reading at home and at school. And then students in kinder and first grade, they keep track of their books that they read on a reading log. And then when it's completed, they turn it in and they're given a raffle ticket and a small prize. Grades in second and third, they take AR quizzes when they finish reading their book. And they also get raffle tickets and small prizes. Now, the raffle tickets are good for at the end of the year. We have a big drawing and they can get prizes. We have a Kindle. We have so many prizes. I can't even think of it, but the Kindle I remembered. And so we also have a goal. Our students have to read 1 million pages. And then when we do make that goal, we're going to have a special event for them. And we're very proud of this program because it builds relationships with our community and it also encourages family quality time. Okay, this is our Mac lab here. The bottom, we have a first grade classroom. They are working on Kid Picks. We have Kid Picks, Comment Live, we have Office Suite, and we also have Google Docs that they can work on. We also have a printer in there too. And so there are classroom visits to our Mac lab. And right now, our Mac lab is hosting our after-school coding program. We use Scratch as our coding program. And we go at the end of this presentation, we have Jason and Alexandra that are going to present their experience in the coding class. Okay, so as I mentioned before, Scratch is the program that we use. And not only do we have an after-school coding class, but we also teach it in the classroom. This is a second grade classroom. They do coding every Thursday morning starting at 8:30. And as you can see, it is code based, block based. This is Jason Chen. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't think we were able to hear them talk about their experience using Scratch. But they did explain that how they coded, how they make their sprite move, and they added sound and where they made it animate. And so, so that's what they were telling us. This is We Do's. This is a third grade classroom, and We Do is a Lego robotic kit.
I'm Emma, and we built the floor sweeper, and we coded it to well, we're tinting the color on the light here, and then we made the motor go to 4, and so let's just hope that this means instead of going all over the place. So, start. That's weird. Okay. So, okay, so it's kind of cleaning. It gets all of it behind it, which is good, I guess. But it works. It works! What's that?
Okay, so that was our We Do robotic kit, and students build their project and then they program it on the We Do app. And so, so now this is our innovation makerspace room. Here, the students create, design, and they engineer and they build in here. And these are third graders. And what we did is that I posed a question. I showed them 8 items. And I told them that they could only work with 4 items. They needed to pick just 4, and then they needed to design and design, create, and build. And they could work independently, or they could collaborate with their fellow students. And so you could see how they did. We do have whiteboard tables that they're able to draw on. They're able to design, and then they built it. And they were, they had an hour to build it. And all the supplies are housed in the room. And we do offer lots of space for them to work independently and collaboratively. Okay, then our next steps, what we are upgrading. We're upgrading our B-bots and Ozobots. And then we're going to continue to support and service our teachers when needed. And then STEAM night. Annually, we do have a STEAM day and STEAM night. We did have a STEAM day back in October, and it was very successful. It was virtual, but our kids had a great time. And we're hoping to bring back our STEAM night Friday, June 3rd. We're planning to invite visitors. It's going to be outdoors. And so that is our next step. And that ends our presentation. Oh, and then, I'm sorry. And then if you have any questions, but if we could hold off on the questions, because we do have 2 third graders that would like to speak. Okay. Okay, Alexandra.
Board members. My name is Alex. I'm in 3rd grade. I attend coding class every Thursday after school.
Alexandra, you're cutting out just a little bit.
What I like and what I do in coding. My favorite game is probably my racing game. And this one that spins, if you land it perfectly, you win a point.
Alexandra, maybe if you turn off your video, we can hear you a little bit better because you're cutting out a little
board
bit.
members. My
There
name
we
is
go.
Alexandra.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm in 3rd grade. I attend coding class every Thursday after school. This is about what I like and what I do in coding. My favorite game is probably my racing game. And this one that spins, if you land it perfectly, you win a point. Thank you for letting me present.
Hey, Jason.
Thank you for coming.
Hey, Jason.
Hello, board members. My name is Alex. I'm in 3rd grade. I attend coding class.
Hello, board members. My name is Jason Kwan. I'm a 3rd grader at Larosa School. I attend coding class after school on Thursday. I created a game called Animal Race. My animal sprites race against each other. What is this? A sprite is
Hold on one sec. I think we have two people speaking.
Okay.
If you land it perfectly, you win a point. Thank you for letting me present.
Thank you. All right. Do we have Jason Kwan, I think, was going to speak as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome.
Hello, board members. My name is Jason Kwan. I'm a 3rd grader at Larosa School. I attend coding class after school on Thursdays. I created a game called Animal Racing. My animal sprites race against each other. What is a sprite? A sprite is an image that you can code to move, talk, and you can make it do whatever you want. Coding has inspired me to be a creator. Thank you for letting me present.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Are there any questions?
Any board members have questions? All right. Well, and I did. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you get grants to fund all these wonderful items or?
No. No, the Lego kits were purchased when we had Code to the Future. There were 12 kits that were purchased per classroom.
Right, okay.
And then the B-bots, everything that the B-bots, the Ozobots, the school funded all of it.
It looks like you have quite a few collaborations with outside groups also. So that's wonderful that you're getting that support also from the community. And so it's fabulous, absolutely fabulous seeing what the kids are doing.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, I echo those comments from Member Sneed. It is wonderful to see all of those young students engaging in things that are going to be, that are becoming more and more important to our future, and having kids think a certain way, collaborate with each other, and understand that how important collaboration is. And so I really applaud your efforts, and I know the board does as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We were excited to be here, so thank you so much.
We're always excited to hear about our students, and thank you all for your dedication and hard work with the students. Thanks for coming. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. All right. We will move on to item number 13, public comment on agendized and non-agendized items. I would like to inform the board that we have today at least 11 speakers and over 5 subject matters. So I've kind of organized it in a certain order, and we'll just follow that. Some of our folks are here to speak for themselves, have written in, and I will be reading it. And to our speakers, thank you so much for coming. We typically have some time limits on public comment on agendized and non-agendized items. And that said, I know our board has historically wanted to hear everybody's voice. So I just want to get some verbal confirmation from our board members that if we end up going over our 20 minutes or time, are you guys agreeable to that? I see a thumbs up from Member Smith and thumbs up from Member Sneed. And Member Georgino, you wanted to say something?
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm agreeable to it also. I just hope that we can, everybody limit themselves to about 3 minutes, so be fair to everyone.
Yes, we did have a couple of special requests. Jerry's has requested to take a little bit longer for his And, you know, are we okay to accommodate that? And also, there's another speaker who, actually a group of speakers, and a few of them were attempting to allot their 3 minutes to one person, which we don't typically do. But, you know, we will give that designated speaker the time that she needs to communicate, if you're okay with that. Are we okay? Other than that, everybody's time, I think what they have to say is within the 3 minutes. Is that okay? Okay. All right. So I will start first with a public comment that came in on March 22nd. It's from Arslan Kabir, and it's titled "Subject Mailing Domain is Vulnerable and Email Can Be Spoofable Due Vulnerable DMARC." I'm not a tech person, so if I'm just butchering this, I apologize. It says, "Hello team, I'm a security researcher and found this vulnerability. I just sent a forged email to my email address that appears to originate from public comment at TCUSD.net. I was able to do this because of the following DMARC record," and it says DMARC record lookup and validation for TCUSD.net. And then in quotes, it says no DMARC record found. And then he goes into how to reproduce it. Step 1, go to, you know, mxd.com, DMARC, ASPX, enter website, click go, you will see the default. And he's giving us the fix, you know, publish DMARC record, enable DMARC, etc. And then he references a couple of links about DMARC records, and then just talks about, let me know if you need me to send another forged email or if you have any questions. So I'm thinking our technology person, Susan Hemmons, we can make sure that you get this to work on. I did want to say another thing about public comment, just so for people who have not been to a board meeting before. If something that you're discussing today is not on the board agenda, then we are not allowed to speak about it after you speak. So, you know, we will ensure that it gets to the right parties if it's not on the agenda and we cannot speak about it. I just don't want you to think that you are speaking and we're not acknowledging what you have to say. So hopefully you know that's okay, and you know, we'll just wanted to let you know up front. All right, so our next speaker on my list is Mr. Jerry Jambasian. Welcome.
Thank you, President Espinosa, and thank you for possibly granting me a little extra time. I ran through this. I wrote it all out. I would love to speak to each one of you, look into your eyes, but I know that I'm going to miss something. So I'm going to read it. It's not the best way to do it, but it's the way that this old guy can do it. So I'm going to start off with, dear Superintendent Fricker, staff, President Espinosa, and governing board members, and also with student board member Kiana Lee. Thank you for allowing me to address you tonight regarding this important topic. I addressed the board a few years ago during public comments with the same request, and I'm here tonight regarding the same subject, namely the Every 15 Minutes program. Every 15 Minutes program is a 2-day event focusing on our high school juniors and seniors. It challenges them to think about drinking, driving, personal safety, and the responsibility of making mature decisions and the impact their decisions have on family, friends, and their community, and many others. The goal was for the program to take place every 2 years, so a junior or a senior would witness the program and its effects and impact. About 1,000 students view the event. The goals and objectives of the program bring together a broad coalition of interested local agencies with the goal of reducing alcohol-related incidents among our youth. The program exists by partnering with our city, the California Highway Patrol, our local sheriffs, hospitals, emergency medical responders, businesses, service clubs, and of course, Temple City High School and our school district, who validate the importance of working together to ensure a healthy, caring community. The 2-day, every 15 minutes program is very dramatic and emotional, and purposely so. In my opinion, it is designed to be graphic and visually disturbing. Our teenagers are constantly reminded about the choices they must not ignore involving alcohol and how many others are affected by their decisions. I remember being 18 years old about 60 years ago and thought I was not only invincible, but I was Superman. And the only thing that could hurt me was kryptonite. There was not an every 15-minute program to warn me of the dangers that lie ahead. This program helps open emotional doors and allows students to experience firsthand how their decisions and actions affect the lives of so many other people. The last time I filmed this impactful program was April the 7th, 2016. The day began early with reenactor students and staff having their makeup, including fake blood and chicken bones, being applied to their limbs by professional makeup artists. In the Senate room, over the entire public address system, the announcement is made of the student's death, including their name and surviving family members. The Grim Reaper, dressed in black, is escorted by a student to their classroom. The door opens and teaching is interrupted, and the tragic events are read to the class members. It was real and palpable. The victim student was escorted out of the classroom by the Grim Reaper, with remaining students sobbing and even the teacher wiping away a tear. This scenario was repeated several times in the morning, about 40 minutes apart. Temple City Boulevard was shut down in both directions. Portable grandstand seating was brought in for the 1,000 students. Former Temple City High School student and 1982 graduate Clark Macy was the announcer, letting the students know what was happening minute by minute, including the responders on site and the condition of the victims. 2 badly destroyed cars were strategically placed in the middle of the street with deceased and badly injured students near the cars. You then hear fire engines, sheriff's deputies, along with the CHP coming from the north and south on Temple City Boulevard. Fire and rescue personnel quickly deploy all their equipment and cut the students out of the cars with the jaws of life. Windshields are broken and the injured removed from the mangled vehicles. Beer cans and alcohol can clearly be seen. First aid is offered to the injured, with the deceased covered by a sheet. A fire department helicopter lands on the football field to take the injured to Arcadia Methodist Hospital. The most telling and chilling moment for me was the 1,000 students remaining silent as the Los Angeles County coroner arrives to respectfully remove the lifeless student. The drunk driver is given a sobriety test, arrested, and taken to Temple Station Jail. Parents of the deceased and injured are notified in person at their homes or workplaces by our local dedicated team of deputies. Students are then dismissed in respectful silence with an accurate portrayal of bad decisions in life. I don't pretend to know all the circumstances around the untimely death of 3 students from the Learning Center this past January 16th. One thing I do know, it affected a student of the month that I recognized last night on a Zoom meeting. He said, if I could change one thing, I wish that my homies had not died. Funding is available from the California Office of Traffic Safety, the California Highway Patrol, with many grants to implement the program. Applications are accepted each school year beginning October 1st. They are accepted on a first come, first served basis until all the spots are filled. It is my desire that the Temple City Unified School District and our city once again participate in this worthwhile event. If it keeps a needless tragedy from happening, it's worth it. In closing, please give me another moment, taking you back 15 years to April 2007. Every 15-minute program, a young student was the reenactor portraying the deceased driver. Please keep in mind there's a special section in the bleachers for parents of the reenactors. There was a mother of one of the reenactors sobbing uncontrollably. Deputy Rick Adams went over and comforted her, reassuring her that this was just a reenactment and that her son was really okay. That Temple City High School senior and graduate was Carrie Smith, former guidance counselor at Temple City High School and now at the district office as coordinator of student data and integrated technology. His mother is Janet Smith and his father is 17-year school board member, Matt Smith. Thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to address you on this important topic. Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me the extra time.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. We'll take that back and talk about it with Dr. Fricker. Okay, so next, there is a topic that I understood to be around special ed and then maybe possibly masking indoors. But associated with this, there were two individuals, Miss Sandra Sue and Miss Elizabeth Lamb, who's asked to give Miss Heather Brown Home their time. But I just want to make sure, do Miss Lamb or Miss Sue want to speak separately, or do they just want Miss Brown Home to speak? Do we have Miss Sue or Miss Lamb on the line?
Hi, good evening.
Okay.
My name is Sandra Sue, and I give my time to Heather Brown Home as we share same experiences and same concerns about the topic that she will share with everyone here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, and how about Miss Lamb? Did you want to speak or did you want to allow Miss Heather Brown Home to speak?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I will give my time to Ms. Heather Brown Home to speak.
Okay. And just to note, we don't typically give time away. That's not typically what we do, but we're willing to allow Ms. Brown Home to speak and use the time that she needs. So Ms. Brown Home, would you like to begin?
Thank you very much for the accommodation. Good evening, board members, staff, parents, and community members. My name is Heather Brown Hom. I'm the parent of a student who receives special education services. I'm speaking before you tonight to express our concerns that the current Director of Special Education, Ms. Michelle Ballesteros, is not properly fulfilling her duties as outlined in the Temple City Unified School District's job description, which I will quote from shortly. We're also concerned about the presence of an attorney at our child's individualized education program meeting, IEP, and the impact of this change in practice. The following excerpts were taken from Temple City Unified School District's job description for the position of Director of Special Education on the EdJoin website. General description. The Director of Special Education will supervise, coordinate, and ensure quality special education programs and services and psychological services, ensure compliance with state and federal regulations in providing services with students with disabilities, essential duties and responsibilities, monitor and ensure compliance with state and federal regulations in providing services for students with disabilities, assure compliance with applicable district policies, procedures, and governmental regulations, apply applicable sections of state education code and other applicable laws, required qualifications, knowledge of federal and state regulations of special education programs. And finally, ability to allocate limited resources in a cost-effective manner. On March 16th, 2022, we had the first meeting for our child's triennial IEP. In attendance were the Director of Special Education, Mrs. Ballesteros, the district's Program Coordinator for Special Education, Ms. Deborah Robinson, Cloverleaf Principal, Mr. Stephen Edo, our son's case carrier, Miss Elizabeth Speaks, as well as 10 other team members from the district. We had a longtime friend and educational advocate present, as she has been at almost every IEP for our son since he was 3 years old. Sunday Johnson, an attorney and partner with Atkinson, Adelson, Loya, Rudd, and Romo, was also present representing the district. We are aware that the district has the right to have an attorney present. Please keep in mind, we do not have any open litigation or due process with the district. We were informed at our March 16th IEP that the attorney will be present at our child's next meeting in April. Attorney Johnson was also present at IEP meetings for the Chan and Lamb families. We share the same friend and advocate. The presence of an attorney at an IEP meeting is intimidating for parents as well as IEP members. It is confrontational and divisive. The Office of Special Education Programs, OSEP, has repeatedly discouraged school districts from having a school district attorney present. Please see Letter to Sawicki, OSEP 2005, and Letter to Clinton, OSEP 2001. I quote, "An attorneys present would have the potential for creating an adversarial atmosphere that would not necessarily be in the best interest of the child," end quote. This is our 9th year of attending IEP meetings for our child. 5 of those years have been with the Temple City School District. Mrs. Ballesteros is the 5th Director of Special Education we have worked with. She is the first that has decided to bring an attorney to our son's IEP meeting. We are very concerned with this change in practice. When we inquired at our IEP meeting why the attorney was present, the attorney stated, quote, "The district requested that I attend in part because you are represented by an advocate. And so the district requested I be here to ensure the district develops an IEP that is legally compliant," end quote. Ensuring the district develops an IEP that is compliant is the responsibility of the Director of Special Education. The fact that the district has an attorney at an IEP meeting creates an atmosphere of distrust, intimidation, and concerns about the professional competence of the district's special education director and the department she leads. The fact that the attorney said she is present in part because we have an advocate raises another concern that the district is following a new practice of discouraging parents from seeking the support of an advocate for fear that the district's attorney will be present at their child's IEP meeting. This is not how you build relationships, collaboration, or trust. This is not in the best interest of the child. We understand that part of our district's vision is to practice fiscal responsibility. It is also the Director of Special Education's duty to have the ability to allocate limited resources in a cost-effective manner. Due to the Special Education Director's lack of competence in state and federal regulations and inability to assure compliance, the district pays for an attorney to be at IEP meetings. Is this type of spending part of the district's vision of fiscal responsibility? We have several other questions we are asking to please be addressed. We understand they will not be addressed at today's meeting. What is the district's policy in regards to the presence of an attorney at an IEP meeting, and has this policy changed? How was the decision made to have an attorney present at our IEP meetings? Why is an attorney present at our IEP meetings now when it was not needed before? How much money has the district spent and intend on spending to have an attorney attend IEP meetings? What percentage of the special education budget do these attorney fees represent? Could the money spent on the services of an attorney to attend IEP meetings have been better spent on training for the special education director and staff? Could the money have been better spent at the site level by hiring another special education teacher to lighten caseloads, bring class sizes down, and provides specialized services to students. We ask that you please consider the information we have provided. Please make changes accordingly. We look forward to the district's response and working together to address our concerns. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing your thoughts. We will now move on to a public comment that I'll read. It's from David Niles. It was sent March 23rd, and it's entitled Unfair Labor Act. It says the district's new CBO, Connie Wu, has violated the Merit System Personnel Commission rules and regulations by ignoring Chapter 13.1 vacations. And then it says 13.1.9, crediting of vacation to employee's account. Vacation shall be credited at the beginning of each fiscal year at the rate the employee would normally earn in the ensuing year. Adjustment will be made if a change is an assignment alters the amount of vacation earned. This has been the district's practice for at least the past 36 years. Connie Wu must be told by proper authority that TCUSD does not treat their employees in such a way without debate or understanding / agreement of the rules that the classified service function under. The personnel department knows and understands the personnel rules and regulations, and in my opinion, should have intervened and corrected this issue as soon as they became aware of it. And I believe that both the CBO and the assistant soup of HR are looking into this one. So the next group of public speakers are related to the same subject, the basketball coach. And I don't know that I noted who might be here live, so I will call out the name, and if you are here and would like to speak rather than me read this, please feel free to chime in. The first person I have here is Alyssa Sun. Do we have Alyssa Sun here? Okay. All right, I will read Ms. Sun's email. It's dated March 23rd, and it says, Dear TCUSD board members, I am a parent whose child is a current senior at TCHS and participated in the boys basketball program. I'm reaching out to you with concerns over the well-being of the students. Certain students had anxiety and stress due to the demeaning behavior of Coach Ted Nugid, I think. Coach would constantly criticize and make negative comments to certain players in front of the whole team. Ted Nugid is not fit to be a coach. I have addressed the concerns to the high school administrators, but nothing has changed. Thank you for your time, Alyssa Sun. The next person who sent a public comment on this topic is Eliana Liu. Is she here, or Liu?
Yeah, Elena Liu. I'm here.
Okay. Hi, how are you? Did you want to speak?
Sure. Thank you, President Espinoza. Good evening, everyone. First and foremost, thank you, board members, for your time and the opportunity to be here today to share my statement. So I am Elena Liu. I am here today as a parent whose child attends Temple City High School. He is a current senior that participated in the boys basketball program since freshman year. My purpose here is to bring your attention to a major concern over the safety and well-being of students under the purview of Temple City Varsity High School basketball coach, Mr. Ted Nugid. Here's a summary of the key reasons for my concerns. He provides an unsafe environment for students. There is concern over the mental health impact for certain students due to demeaning and constant criticism from the coach in front of peers. The fact that our district has doubled the rate of student reports with suicidal ideation. I believe 48 students as of February this year reported in our last March 9th board meeting. It only magnifies this concern further. I won't elaborate here, but he has inappropriate conversations with on topics unrelated to basketball during practices. His extensive conversations on non-basketball topics create multiple pauses in physical activity which lead to higher risk of player injuries. And his coaching philosophy simply does not fit our community. He stated at our basketball banquet this year, his objective is to create future CEOs and teach leadership skills. Yet he is a basketball coach and untrained for certain responsibilities outside of this position within the district. He extends practice times on a whim, which impacts students and family schedules constantly and removes time from other activities. Because of this, practices do not end on time and goes over for hours. And he applies a frequent emphasis on negative feedback, which creates a lack of motivation in students. Consequently, he holds a losing record for the teams he trained. Our school district states schools are welcoming places that provide a nurturing, healthy, and safe learning environment that ensures the educational, emotional, and physical development of all students. This coach's behavior and philosophy does not align accordingly to these values and the mission of our school district. Please consider immediately opening an investigation on Mr. Ted Nugid to remove him as the varsity basketball coach. I also kindly ask the board to consider adding this as a future agenda item to ensure follow-up. Thank you again for your time, service, and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Leo. All right, the next person who submitted a public comment asked to remain anonymous, so I will just read it. Hello, I have concerns about the TCHS boys varsity basketball coach because of the concerns listed in the letter addressed to the board. And so that's all that says. The next person on the list here is, she may be present, I'm not sure, but Irene Lamb. Is Irene Lamb here? Okay, I will go ahead and read Ms. Lamb's communication. Hello, we are parents of a player on the boys varsity basketball team and are very concerned about the issues outlined in the memo addressed to the board. We appreciate your attention to this matter. And these, the memo was not attached that I could see, but I know that there's, I think, let me see, I don't think it's something that I read, but maybe Ms. Leo, is it something that what you discussed already?
I assume it was a group letter sent to, I believe March 13th, sent to the high school administration and the superintendent.
Okay, all right. The next person, Miss Dalney? Dalney,
yes, I'm here.
Hi, thank you for coming. I will
Yes.
go ahead and let you speak.
Great. Thank you, President Espinoza, Dr. Fricker, and board members for allowing me to speak to you tonight. I've been a community member for over 22 years. I've been an active member of the high school Performing Arts Booster Club, Ramrodder Booster Club, and the now the team rep for boys basketball. I've had two older children who've already gone through the Temple City school system, and my youngest is a senior, and that's why I'm here tonight. Like you've already heard, we have some concerns about the coach, constant bullying of some of the kids. I did bring it up to administration as well. But my concern is that it hasn't changed because it has been a constant thing that's happened over the years. So as Elena had said, we urge you to please open an investigation just so that it just doesn't occur anymore for future kids. And that's, what we're here for as a team rep. I'm representing all of the boys, all of the parents. And so that's been my role for the last 4 years. So I thank you for your time and your consideration. And thank you again.
Thank you. The next person up with comments is Shuang Chen. Do we have Shuang Chen? Okay, I will read. Dear Temple City Unified School Board District members, I am writing to you as a parent whose child attends Temple City High School. He is a current senior, participated in the boys basketball program for the last 4 years. My purpose is to bring to your attention a major concern over the safety and well-being of students, the purview of Temple City Varsity High School basketball coach Ted Nugent, who is not well-fitted responsibilities on this position. I request your help to address this matter urgently, as each day students continue to be exposed to his inappropriate behavior during basketball practice. I don't think Coach Ted is fit for the position. Thank you for your consideration. Okay. The next comment, this person requested to remain anonymous. It says, Dear Temple City Unified School District board members, I am writing to you as a parent whose child currently attends Temple City High School. My purpose is to bring awareness to a major concern over the safety and well-being of students under the coach, Temple City High School varsity coach, Ted Nugent. The following summarizes some of the reasons not well fitted for his coaching position. Under Ted's coaching, students have endured an unsafe environment, which has impacted some of them in there's some cutoff here, my print job, I don't know what happened, which impacted some of them in a negative way. I'm going to say negative way due to bullying and constant criticism in front of peers. His frequent emphasis on negative feedback also created lack of motivation in students. As a result of this, he holds a losing record for the team he trained. His inappropriate conversations on topics that are unrelated to basketball, which can go up to 40 minutes long basketball practices, are unprofessional and very concerning. This coach's behavior does not meet the values and mission of our school district. I ask that you please consider immediately opening an investigation on Coach Ted Nugent and remove him from his position as varsity coach. I sincerely appreciate your time and service and consideration. Okay, and the last one that I have is from Mike Fong. Is Mike Fong here? Okay, I will read his public comment. Dear Temple City School District board members, I am writing to you as a concerned parent whose child attends Temple City High School. As part of the boys varsity basketball team, my son has the following observations about Coach Mr. Ted Nugent and as his parent, I am deeply concerned with Mr. Nugent's fitness to be coach. Number one, Mr. Nugent frequently creates negative environment around the basketball team during practice and ball games by emphasizing on the mistakes students made and rarely on the positive things they did and achieved. Mr. Nugent's negative comments often come in the yelling and cursing and curse words. Mr. Nugent's behavior often leads to undue emotional stress to high school players and students. Mr. Nugent often stops all activities in the middle of practice and spends up to 40 minutes about non-basketball related topics. This stoppage creates prolonged idle time in the midst of physical activities and creates higher risk for injuries. My son commented his knee hurt. One time he resumed practice after Coach Ted's talk. We have sought medical help and it cuts off, I don't know what this word is, to help minimize his knee pain. ACU, to help minimize his knee pain. I urge the school board to investigate Mr. Nugent I urge the school board to investigate if Mr. Nugent is suitable to the basketball coach, a city high school, with his negative coaching philosophy and approach. Thank you for your attention and consideration for this matter. Okay, I believe that is all our public comments. Marie, did we catch all of them?
You actually might have one more. There's a Vin that submitted one at the end, and he's present.
Oh, if he's present, Mr. Vin present?
Yes, I am. Thank you, President Espinoza. I would consider you guys my counterparts in our neighboring foothill cities. I'm a council member for City of Duarte for District 2. I'm just here to support my cousin, Elena Leo, and my nephew with the concerns that they have being addressed regarding the varsity basketball coach. And I would just wanted to show support to them and do anything I can to possibly help them, my cousin, and the parents of the Temple City High School varsity team, or you guys, my counterparts from our neighboring foothill cities. So please feel free to reach out to me. I do believe we have a common denominator here. Donna, thank you for your longtime service for the City of Duarte. I know that you still hold a lot of friends out here that are currently on our city council and our city staff. So please feel free. My number can be found. If not, you can email me and I will provide contact information. So please let me know what I can do and how I can help. And thank you guys so much and continue the good work.
Thank you for coming and your comments. We appreciate it. Okay, I think that concludes public comment on agendized and non-agendized items. So we will move on to agenda item number 14, community update by board president. So let's see, we have a few things that I just want to share that we have going on in the city of Temple City. It was communicated on the city's website that there is a California COVID-19 rent relief program that provides financial assistance for unpaid rent and utilities to eligible renters and landlords who have been impacted by COVID. Both renters and landlords can apply for assistance. The deadline to apply is March 31st at 5 p.m. and you apply at housing.ca.gov. The next update is the city is looking to fill jobs at the Parks and Recreations, looking for applicants for a recreation leader and senior recreation leader. And you can apply at www.templecity.us. And then you go to job opportunities. Next, we have the city posted that they have moved up to number 15 of the SafeWise ranking, which ranks the safest cities in California. And that's, I think, up from a lower rating last time. So that's great in terms of being number 15 on their ranking list in all of California, which is great. And actually that ranking is the safest city in the San Gabriel Valley. So we have lots to be proud of there. And then we have a swim team is having a fundraiser where you can purchase a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts for $16 between now and April 8th. Pickup will be April 15th, and you can direct message on Instagram, message at tchs.swimteam to place an order. All proceeds go to the swim team. Those are the updates that I have. Does any other board member have any updates that I might have missed?
I do. As Donna, board member Georgino and I are both part of the Camellia Festival. We just selected our 6 royalty members this last Saturday at the play day. They represent many of the schools in the district. As the float chairman, I'd also like to welcome anybody and everybody to create their own homemade float and take part in the parade this year. All they have to do is register at CameliaFestival.org. They just have to fill out an application. You can decorate something that moves with whatever you want. So please be a part of the Camellia Festival this year. It'll be happening the weekend of May 20th.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, we will move on to item number 15, district updates, and we start with Connie Wu. What do you have for us?
I'm here. Good evening, Board President, Ms. Melissa Espinoza, Board of Education. This week, Dr. Caroline and we had a meeting with the Csca Chapter 105 and Chapter 823 about the classified employee vacation balance reporting. on the employee's paycheck. Since I came to the TCUSD, there was at least 2 situations, and another one is on the way about unearned vacation taken. According to the Personnel Commission Rule 13.1.10, unearned vacation upon termination, when a classified employee terminates and had to be granted vacation, which was not yet earned at the time of termination of the employee service, the district shall deduct from employee's final check the full amount of salary which was paid for such unearned days of vacation taken. There was at the time, employee's last paycheck was insufficient to cover the unearned sick and vacation days he took, and the district has suffered financial loss. Since he moved out of states and we don't have a following email, it will take time to reach out to him. We have shared this issue with Personnel Commission, and we also had a meeting. After the meeting, Csca has sent out a survey for the membership input and what is their preference reporting their balance on their check steps. And I also personally speak with several members for their thoughts, and we are waiting for the result for the survey. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Csca for working with the district to solve this matter. And I personally willing to meet Dave Neal to explain him in person. And I want to make sure that the committee, the classified employee and the board and the Csca leadership know that district as of right now, we have not violated any classified employees' right, as well as construction language. It is district responsibility to correctly inform the employee their both earned and unearned vacation. So that's all the purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. We'll move on to educational services. Christopher Holmes.
Hi, Melissa.
Richard's
I'm
back.
gonna jump in on Chris.
That's what I thought. Your name is not here, so I apologize.
And I
Welcome
apologize,
back,
Chris. I know
Mr.
he's ready to speak, so I'm gonna jump in. First off, I want to say I'm so grateful for being back. 5 months was so long. And so I want to thank Kim and Chris for all they have done in Ed Services while I was out, and all the executive cabinet and the Ed Service team for making my transition back so seamless. So thank you all for everything you've done for me while I was gone. The only thing I have to report on tonight is I just want to share with you an amendment to the TCEA regarding in-person learning MOU that was dated and signed March 1st, or that was dated March 1st, 2022. Due to the changes in public policy and TCUSD's decision to make masking optional for students and adults on TCUSD campuses, TCEA and TCUSD agreed to remove the following sections from the in-person learning MOU signed March 1st, 2022. So this is what we're going to remove. All staff must wear a face mask at all times while indoors, found under Article 2.5.1. The exemptions: employees who are working alone in their classroom office with the door closed, employees who are consuming food or beverages, found under 2.5.1. And then 4.2, masks must be worn by students and staff for all PE courses held indoors. So we're going ahead and go and make that change for the benefit of everyone, I think. And again, I want to thank everyone for being there for me while I was gone. And yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be back.
We're excited to have you back. So thanks for joining us tonight and welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on. Do we have someone that will be giving an HR services update? Or are we going to move on to?
I was going to give the HR services update, but it was really in reference to the MOU that Richard read. So you can move on to the next one.
Right on. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to student services / discipline, student discipline update. Christopher Holmes.
Hi, thank you, President Espinoza and the school board. And thank you, Mr. Lohman. First, in student services, we would like to welcome back Richard Lohman to his position in Ed Services. He has been missed, and it's good to see him, and good to see him looking so healthy. Attendance at our schools after the Omicron surge has recovered. And as is always the case in Temple City, with our emphasis on educational excellence, our attendance is doing back to its normal levels. The average attendance is around 97 to 97.5% right now for our schools in the month of March. I am currently working in student services on revisions to the district's CSA's plan. And I will be presenting to the board a snapshot of that plan and the discussion of those revisions in the month of April. I want to say a special thank you to our LPAC coordinators in the district. Currently, we do not have an LPAC coordinator at Longden Elementary. Our LPAC coordinators, we had normally 2, and in the fall, 1 resigned. And then at the start of January, our other LPAC coordinator fortunately found an awesome opportunity for themselves. And so we have gone without an LPAC coordinator since that time at Longden. But the work of the other LPAC coordinators in the district to plan and coordinate to support the students at Longden, I'm just so very, very proud of them. It's really quite a special group of employees we have serving our students in that role. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one for that. And the only other thing is I'm just very, very proud of the work of our PBIS teams, building on the support they received from Monica Lukesh during her time here with us, that if we've been able to monitor the incentive programs rolling out at each of the sites. The elementaries are doing a wonderful job in that area, a lot of positivity and ice cream socials and rewards dollars being spent. And the work at the middle school and the high school and preparing for the beginning of next year for their big rollouts has been also impressive. So thank you to each of the committees. Thank you to our counselors, and thank you to all of our sites for supporting positive behavior in our students. That's all I have in student services. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to educational technology. Susan Hemmons.
Good evening, everyone. I'll try and keep mine short as well. I usually give you an update on the virtual academy. We are down just below 300, so 299 kids at the elementary level. That's still about 150 more than we expected for sure at the beginning of the year. And we have about 130 at the secondary level, so around 429. So it's still really a strong number. We will be putting something out shortly. I am in the process of updating our master agreements, handbooks, flyers, that type of thing for the virtual academy. We'll be putting something out in probably the next month or so to try and find out if there are people who are interested within and outside of our district in the virtual academy for the following year. As far as tech goes, we did receive, I was forwarded the email that you were referring to in the comments earlier, and 2 of both Andy and Andrew are working on that and trying to just discover what's going on. They are also, will be working over spring break to make sure we are ready with Wi-Fi at the schools for state testing that will be coming up in April and May. So that's it tonight from the tech world.
Great, thank you. All right, we'll move on to item number 16, which is bargaining unit comments. Let's start with TCEA. Kyla, I think you were going to have Ellen take your time. I don't know if Kyla's on, but I believe that was the.
Sorry, yeah, I was muted. Yes, I would like Ellen Laughlin to be able to take my time so that she can speak. She's on our bargaining team, and she's got a few things that she'd like to share with you.
Okay, wonderful. Ellen?
Thank you, President Espinoza. Thank you. So we have a bargaining team that's looked at our budget for over 20 years, and we just wanted to make some things, which I believe you know, and some things you may not know, just put it out there for everyone to hear. As you know, President Espinoza read that we were unqualified for the 3rd year out, but we are now qualified. So that happens, that budgets change and can be balanced. I believe we're currently actually sitting in a year that President Georgino read that we were unqualified at one point. So budgets can be changed and balanced. So we're grateful for that. A lot of Temple City revenue streams are subject to cost of living increases. So that cost of living increase this year is 5.07. So that revenue will receive that. And the governor expects a very high cost of living increase next year of about 6% now, but the state is very flush with income, which trickles down to our schools, which we're very grateful for. We know that we have declining enrollment in Temple City and in the Valley. However, the state is looking into multiple ways to fund schools that have declining enrollment, or the whole state actually, with using something called possibly a rolling average. And that's gonna not hurt us as much if we use that rolling average instead of the traditional ADA. And thankfully, through the last few years, we have been held harmless. So we're not going to have as much of a loss of income because of possibly a new way of figuring our enrollment. We have a Fund 20 in our district, which is our post-retirement benefits. And there's no stipulation that you have to save money for any employee's retirement. And so we have $2.6 million, and we put another $250,000 in it every year. So this is something our board can change. You have the ability to stop doing this. You have the ability to take the money out of that fund. We are currently paying for everybody's retirement benefits out of the revenue stream that we already have. We haven't used any of this money. It's not necessary. That's about 4% of our revenue that comes in is in this fund. The Temple City School Board has also adopted language that has a 2% reserve on top of the state mandated 3%. That's your own language, and you have the power to change that and release that reserve. I think you're all aware of the Senate Bill 751 that says you need to save. You should have a balance of unrestricted money at about 6 to 10%, unless you have it attached to some sort of project that you're doing. And so when we have a very large unrestricted balance without any label on that money, you're in a sense in a violation of Senate Bill 751. So I guess my question would be, what is your plan for this extra 2%? In 2019, 2020, we were very grateful to receive a retirement incentive. And we had quite a few certificated and classified employees that did take that incentive. We had about 300 certificated members at that time. We currently have 265 certificated. However, when I asked Connie Wu, our CBO, what our cost of 1% was, she said it was higher than what it was several years ago. So your role when you offer that retirement incentive was to reduce your payroll. So I have a concern about that. She is a new CBO, and possibly she's comparing apples to oranges, and she's not using Marianne Sorrell's former number. However, I find it very, very odd. I would think they would be able to determine where that 1% would come from, being the same source. So we have a substantial reserve. Last year's reserve was 25.5%. And if you add the Fund 20 reserve, which is about 4%, and add that to our reserve, your board 2%, and the 3% reserve for economic uncertainty, which is required, our CTA bargaining team has figured out that you have about a 37.5% reserve, which is way over a third of our revenues in savings. And so I guess my question is, why do we have that much money in our reserve when I feel that those funds should be for the current students and employees of this district? We're trying to succeed through a pandemic, and even if we weren't, we've always had such a high reserve. That money should be used for the people that are in the district currently. So I guess my questions would be, why do you have that additional 2% reserve, and would you consider releasing that? Why do you have $2.6 million in Fund 20, and which is 4% of our revenue? Why are you going to continue to add $250,000 to that every year? And why do we have such a high reserve of 34.5%, which also includes that 3% required reserve? So really, truthfully, if you appreciate us, if you honor us, respect us, and value us as certificated employees who are helping our students of the future, we really would expect that on April 5th, that when we go to the negotiations table, that there is no counter proposal, that our proposal for 5% COLA would be offered, accepted. We don't understand why it wouldn't be. We are the lowest in salary and benefits combined compared to all of our 6 other districts in the neighboring community: San Marino, Arcadia, South Pasadena, La Cañada, Glendora, and Claremont. Pretty soon you're going to have to be hiring new educators. Why would they want to come to Temple City? So please consider accepting our proposal on April 5th. And we will be reaching out to you all over spring break. I spoke to a board member today, and we'd really like to have some answers to our questions. We understand you can't answer them tonight, but thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ellen. We'll move on to CSCA 105. Tessie?
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much. I'm not going to reiterate what Ellen presented, but we do concur, and I appreciate her saying it and presenting it. We're grateful for the work that the district office has done, and we look forward to negotiations on April 6th, and look forward to being valued employees as well, and hope that negotiations go well and smoothly. We did meet as a negotiating team, and there were several things that we will be sending an email requesting from the district office that I think have gotten forgotten and fallen through the cracks. 2 from HR and 2 from fiscal services. So they'll be receiving an email tomorrow requesting some costs for dental part-time employees and the cost of 1 year additional year of longevity. And the HR request is for new positions in the district office over the past 3 years, as well as requesting that the extremely outdated contract and job positions on the website be updated. So that's about it. We're looking forward to spring break and some valued time off with our family and friends. So thank you. Happy spring break and have a good evening.
Great. Thank you, Tessie.
Thank you.
All right. We will move on to CSCA 823. Art.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. I have a couple of things I need to discuss and speak to the board about. One, yeah, we do have a April 8th date for our negotiations. It's been so prolonged that, you know, it needs to come to an end. After hearing Ellen's remarks, that 5%, if the district is willing to counter our proposal, I know I did little played it high, but that's the art of the game. That 5% that teachers are proposed, if the district will counter that, and I think we'll all be in good shape. I think my members will be pleased with that, but that's up to them to bring that back to the table. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting this done and completed. The other thing I want to touch on is us being a merit district. It gives us the Personnel Commission rules and regulations, added protection for classified employees. Recently, one of the rules in that book that we have, big binder, was violated, chapter 13.1.9. Time was deducted from members' vacation banks, and without any notice, without any heads up about it, no notice sent out, people just looked at their pay stubs and saw they had less time. Phone calls started coming into me, asking the question, why did this happen? And, you know, only thing I could explain to them was I did have a conversation with Connie and prior to this happening, and I did point out the Personnel Commission rule. And I said, I believe there's language that says that it is advanced at the fiscal years. So it being taken away, you know, it really puts a burden on a lot of my members. And I give you an example. I did have a conversation with Kim about this earlier, and thank you, Dr. Fricker. We have an open communication, and we're always good at hashing things out. And we talked about this item. But since I talked to her, I got a member came to me and said that he got a phone call from the district saying that he's going to be docked pay for taking off the week of spring break. That's what I didn't want to see happen. I was worried about for my members to get hit with this. It's not fair. It shouldn't happen. First I've ever seen this in my 20-some years that I've been here. We're a merit district. If other districts that do as earned, that's fine. But we're a merit district, and we have the rules in place to protect our members, classified employees, not just union members, but any classified employee that is protected by the Personnel Commission rules and regulations. So with that said, we really need that restored. We need it like now. I don't want members to have to lose pay, but cost of living what it is, people are struggling. And this unilateral move was very unfair. They should have did their research before making this move. And I hope this is like a lesson learned. No harm, no foul. Let's just restore it and we'll call it good. Other than that, that's pretty much what I have to say tonight. I hope everybody has a good spring break. Hope we get the rest and rejuvenation that is deserved, because I know it's been pretty busy. Getting back to school, getting things back in order and all that stuff. It's been a pretty tough year. So I'll end on that note. Thank you all and have a good evening.
Thank you, Art. We will move on to item number 17, board member comments. And tonight we will start with member Sneed.
Okay. Thank you, President Espinoza. I just have a few comments. Last week I attended the festival concert at Temple City High School. It was just a fabulous show. From the symphony band and then all the orchestras. It was really great to see the students performing in person again. We really have some of the most talented students in anywhere. And so I want to really thank the directors, Reggie Cordero and Phil Bailey, for a great return to performing. Thank you to Larosa for presenting tonight. I know it's always one of our highlights of the evening to hear about the great things that are going on at the schools, and you definitely did not disappoint tonight. Congratulations to the high school pep team. Their flags took first place and cheer took first place in their division, and our state champs at the Sharp State competition at Knott's Berry Farm. At the same competition, the Oak Avenue Royalettes took first place in the school novelty category, and the same weekend, the high school drumline took first place in the Colony Show. I want to thank the Kiwanis for recognizing all of our students last night. Thanks to everybody for your patience as we transition into this next phase of our indoor mask mandates. And I encourage everyone to be respectful of each other and those who might have a differing opinion about wearing masks or not wearing masks. And last, I'll echo what Art just said. Spring break starts at the end of the week. And I hope all of our staff and families will take the time to rest, relax, and regroup, because you certainly deserve it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Sneed. Next, we'll hear from Member Georgino.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Larosa for the great presentation tonight. I really enjoyed it. I'd also like to echo what Mary said and congratulate all of our PEP squads for doing so well in the recent Knott's Berry Farm competition. I'd like to congratulate Chase Lemos, Zane Pinedo, and Gabriel Ponce, who were named to the 2021 Boys Soccer All-CIF Division 6 Southern Section selection. So that's a real great honor. So congratulations to them. I attended the Temple City High School pep rally on March 11th, and Kiana, thank you for the invitation. I really enjoyed it, and the students really enjoyed it. From what I understand, they haven't had a lot of activities this past year, so that was really special for them. And one of the things that struck me about it, it wasn't just about celebrating the boys soccer championship. It was celebrating all the accomplishments of the students, and there were so many of them, from the Science Olympiad team to the soccer team to the pep squad. So there's really a lot of great things going on at Temple City High School. Monday night, I participated in the LAXTA meeting. It was about the prevalence of human trafficking among young people. So that was very interesting. And the last thing I wanted to say was just a little public service announcement. Last month, I noticed when we had several sports teams at Temple City High School participating in playoffs, I noticed that there were a lot of social media posts encouraging people to watch the games live, and they had a link there. And CIF put out a tweet the other day warning people not to click on those links. They are phishing links. They will be able to get private information off of your computer. So if you want to watch our sports teams participate in sports, you need to make sure that it's either Valley Sports West, NFHS Network West, KDOC TV, or CIF. And I just encourage everyone to be careful and double check before you click on anything. And that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Georgino. Next, we'll go with Member Smith.
Okay. Yeah, I'm unmuted. Okay, I'm just going to try to be quick because we're running pretty late. But first, a warm welcome back to Richard Lohman. Glad to see you. Glad that everything turned out well with your surgery and that you're here and you're healthy and wealthy and wiser, right? I also like to thank Linda Heredia and Dee Moreno and the students from Larosa for their presentation tonight. Enjoyed listening and hearing about the different areas of focus they're looking at: literacy, Mac labs, classroom coding, and innovations and whatnot. So thanks for that. I'm glad we finally sort of put this whole issue about masks or no masks behind us, at least for the time being. I will say, even since that decision was communicated, we've all received multiple emails in favor and multiple emails against. And we've received quite a few emails over the past many weeks and months. And some people communicate their frustration pretty well, and we all recognize that. But anyway, we are at where we are, and we'll move forward. I hope everybody has a great spring break next week and take some time off to spend with your family and get outside and do some fun things. I noted on a lot of the principal newsletters in the last several weeks during the month of March, a lot of focus on reading because it's Read Across America month, and some of the clever and ways people communicated that and did the reading and whatnot. So thanks for sharing that information. I saw an email the other day from Tamar about Employees of the Year, specifically for TCEA, and it looks like they've all been selected. I haven't seen a formal announcement, so I'm not going to mention the names, but congratulations to all those teachers who were selected to represent your school site. I know that she's in the process of gathering that information too for CSEA, and I think it's due this week or sometime. But anyway, so wishing all the people well for that. I did also attend the Kiwanis Club Student of the Month meeting on last night, and it was a great job. Jerry Jambazian kind of heads it up for Kiwanis, and he does a great job interacting with the kids and sharing the information. So that's all very nice. I remember I discovered that Monday was Down Syndrome Day. I saw that because Myra Rudell put it on her Emperor website, and I remember her posting that last year as well. So thanks for doing that. And I know we've got Cesar Chavez coming up, Cesar Chavez Day coming up on March 31st. And last year, Timothy Rodriguez came to a board meeting or a Zoom meeting, but presented some information along that regard for us. I'm sorry, I've scribbled all over the place. I guess that's pretty much it. Oh, but no, a very happy birthday to Marie, who has a birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday, Marie.
That's it.
Yay. All right. Thank you, Member Smith. I'm up next and I will be brief. I definitely wanted to recognize National Down Syndrome Awareness Day, which was the March 21st. I will also want to thank Larosa for their great presentation. And I was wanting to say happy belated St. Patrick's Day. I hope our community enjoyed the day celebrating the heritage and culture of the Irish. I also echo Member Georgino's congratulations to the CIF state champions who've been recognized individually, Chase Limos, Zane Pinedo, and Gabriel Ponce. Congratulations, just great job. And then congratulations to the 3 PEP squads for their performances at the Sharp State competition at Knott's Berry Farm. They came in first in flags, first in song, and cheer won first place and earned the highest score out of their division and earned the title of state champions. So just so many wonderful things happening for our students. And I think, just having been kind of on lockdown has kind of, driven our kids to really, really achieve very highly. And we are just so proud of everybody and all the people, all the administrators, all the certificated and classified folks that support the kids and the parent groups who support the kids in their endeavors. And lastly, I just want to wish everyone a restful and safe and fun spring break. That marks kind of the home stretch when we come back. So enjoy the time, and we'll just put in that get in the home stretch and make it to the end of the year. So thank you so much. All right. Oh, yes. Sorry. Thank you. You told me that. Just a reminder to our fellow board members that our next meeting is April 27th, and it will be in person. Okay. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. Okay. Now we will go to item number 18, which is student board member comments. Kiana Lee, what do you have for us?
Thank you, President Espinoza. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to be sharing my screen just to show some graphics from the Oak PTA. I wanted to start off first, though, by congratulating our high school's FBLA, or Future Business Leaders of America, for their outstanding achievements, specifically students Ethan Lee, Kyler Chien, Isabel Shu, Jeffrey Lee, Brandon Liu, Ivan Rim, Kaylee Wan, Stephen Shi, and Jaden Liu, who will be competing with the FBLA students from across California on April 7th through 10th in topics such as cybersecurity, accounting, marketing, networking, insurance and risk management, supply chain management, and public speaking. So this week at the high school, we are holding our Spring Spirit Week themed Rams rivalry, as well as our first in-person pep rally of this school year on Friday. It will be held at the football stadium in the morning. We will also be announcing the prom theme at the rally as well, so be sure to tune in. So last Monday, I had the wonderful pleasure of meeting with Ms. Gould and Mr. Lesson from Oak, and they had wonderful updates to share. So first, we want to congratulate again their band and auxiliaries units for placing first at their Laguna Beach Band Sweepstakes. So here I have a graphic from their Oak PTA. Please support their fundraiser tomorrow night, all day actually tomorrow, at Handel's Ice Cream. They are also still holding their shoe drives until the end of the month. So if you are spring cleaning, please consider donating your new or used shoes to the collection box at the main office at Oak. As you've all probably noticed in many advertisements, we are playing the Harlem Wizards basketball team on the 24th of April. So make sure to purchase your tickets soon. And their special education teacher, Miss Oliver, also celebrated World Down Syndrome Day this Monday with having a crazy sock day to kick off the Spirit Week and hosting a little something extra bulletin board where students decorated paper socks, and wrote down a little something extra about themselves that made them unique and special. Last but not least, I do want to make an announcement for sports. Please join us on Friday afternoon at 3:30 to support our varsity boys baseball team when they will play against La Cañada, and our boys tennis team that will be playing a home match against La Cañada at that same time. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Thank you, Kiana. We'll move on to item number 19, Superintendent Comments.
Thank you, President Espinosa. So I want to wish everybody a very happy and healthy spring break. It is coming up at the end of this week, as you know, and it's just a time where we just want to have a pause and a respite before we head into the end of the school year activities and all the celebrations that are going to come with that. So all the planning is underway for those end of school year activities and celebrations, and I cannot wait to attend all of our school sites and see all of the wonderful things that they have done all year long. It was my pleasure to meet with the counseling team and the principals in 2 separate meetings, but I just wanted to take a moment just to thank all of the hard work that has gone into the year, both on the counseling staff and on behalf of the administrative staff at our school sites. They truly have rose above all of the obstacles and challenges that we have faced this year, and then they did a remarkable job throughout the entire year. So I just want to thank both of those groups. I do want to welcome back Richard. Your voice and presence back in the office is much appreciated. You were sorely missed when you were gone, and we are just happy that you are returned. I also want to thank Chris Holmes for stepping up and taking on much of the role of Ed Services. The timing of everything and all of the reports and accountability that go along with Ed Services is a daunting task. And I just wanted to thank everybody in Ed Services for kind of pulling through in the absence of Richard. So thank you, team, for that effort. And then I did attend the LACSA meeting, and I also attended the Kiwanis Students of the Month. So thank you, Jerry, for all that you do.
Thank you, Dr. Fricker. Item number 20, written communications. I think I read everything that we had, so I think we're good there. Let's move on to discussion information items. Under education services, we have educational services. We have item number 21, the CAST testing presentation by Amy Gerling and Scott Sherman.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, President Espinosa and school board, and also any TCUSD staff and families that might be listening tonight. I do just want to take a second on behalf of Scott Sherman and myself to welcome Richard Lohman back. We were so excited to see you on Monday, but it would be remiss of us to not thank Chris Holmes and everyone that supported us through the last few months as Richard healed and is back now. So we are very excited about that. So as I said, Scott Sherman and I would like to share with you a few of the ways that we measure how our students are learning and what TCUSD does with that information. So we're also going to talk to you about the important ways that our families can work in partnership with their child's teacher and with the school to help their students succeed.
Good evening, everyone. At the end of each school year, students in grade 3 and higher take statewide assessments, also known as summative assessments. These are called summative because they test the sum of what students learn during the school year. The umbrella term that we use for summative assessments is CAS, which stands for California Assessment of Student Progress, Performance and Progress. The CAS system has 2 main parts: English Language Arts Literacy, or ELA, and mathematics assessments, and then the science assessment, which is known as the CAST. The only exceptions from these assessments are those for students that will be taking the California Alternative Assessment, the CA, which is based on their unique needs. First, let's take a moment to talk about the Smarter Balance assessments in ELA and mathematics. These tests were developed by a group of states, and the name of that group is the Smarter Balance Assessment Consortium. As you saw in the umbrella graphic on the previous slide, they are part of the CAST system. These tests are designed to measure or check what students know and can do. In other words, the knowledge that they have gained throughout the whole year. The California Science Assessment, also known as CAST, is the new assessment recently developed in California. It is designed to test students' ability to think critically and resolve problems which are important skills for all students to learn. The CAST focuses on questions that cover more than just one scientific area though, such as life science, earth and space science, and physical science.
So we've all been through 2 very uncertain years, and our families and teachers even may wonder why students need to take the CASP tests. The test results are an important piece of information about how our students are doing in school. They can be triangulated with report cards and other pieces of information like our Iready data to tell parents if their child is on track to succeed in higher grades and is ready for college and career readiness. So the CASP system gives that kind of information to our schools, specifically our teachers, our students, their families, about what students are able to do. Parents and guardians can therefore use that information to know if their child is on track or if they need more support in the areas of language arts, mathematics, and also science.
For students in grade 11, there is another main reason these tests are important. The results of the statewide assessments are also used by some colleges in California to decide how ready students are for college level classes. So when a student takes the CAS test in grade 11, you will see that some of the information about the readiness for college level classes on their student score report, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
So we also know that our parents are interested in which of these tests their students will take. So for your information, all of our students in grades 3 through 8 take the Smarter Balanced summative assessments in both English language arts for their literacy skills and also in mathematics. If a student is in these grades 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 11, they will take these tests at the end of the school year, which is approaching more rapidly than perhaps we're ready for. The only exceptions to these grade levels that might be taking tests are those students that will take the CA, which is the California Alternate Assessment, and those will be for students based on their unique needs.
As far as the California Science Test or CAST is concerned, all students in grades 5, 8, and 12 take it at the end of the school year. So only those 3 grades will be taking the CAST, the California Science Test.
So the CAST assessments are all taken on a computer. The Smarter Balanced assessments in ELA and math are computer adaptive, much like our school district adopted Iready program. This means that the students take the test on a computer, and if the computer gives the students questions that are easier, the same, or possibly more difficult than the questions previous, based on how the students answer the questions. So for example, if a student answers a question correctly, they receive more challenging questions. Incorrect answers trigger easier questions for the student. So that's why we call it an adaptive test. It adapts to how the student is taking it. This keeps the test somewhat short for students, but also make sure that scores are very accurate, especially for students who score very low or very high, of course, on the purview that they do not rush through the test. The CAST test, that's the science test that we spoke about earlier, that one is not computer adaptive. It is a set of questions, but it is also taken on a computer. These questions, these online tests give students different types of questions. So for example, for math, a student might be asked to drag and drop things from place to place, to match things using drawing lines, using their tools, or to draw a graph to solve a problem.
Now what everyone really wants to know, when is testing? We have testing dates that are set by the district. For elementary sites, it's April 25th to May 27th. So that's the range. Oak, same thing, April 25th to May 27th, and the high school, April 4th to April 9th. Within these dates, each school is going to choose what particular dates their school sites will be doing for each particular test. So parents, please keep a lookout for parent letters through Parent Square and the information on principal newsletters that will give you the exact dates of when your student will be testing for which test.
Thanks, Scott. So he talked about earlier readiness for college level courses. And I know this graphic may be a little bit small, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through what it gives you. So college level, oops.
It's okay, Amy. So okay. This image, before I let Amy go about college level readiness, is what the scorecards will look like for parents and students. These cards are going to be what are going to be mailed to or shown to you. It's the student score report that should be given to you during the summertime or before the next school year. Standards not met are going to be level 1, standards nearly met are level 2, standards met is level 3, and standards exceeding are level 4. The goal is for every student to get to level 3 as best as they can.
Thanks for your grace, Scott. That was awesome. My bad. Went in too early. So here is our college readiness slide, which is also quite small. So hopefully you're looking at it with a big screen. So our readiness for our college level courses for grade 11 students is important to many of the parents of our students of high school level kids. So in this section on the screen, this will be on the back of the page of the report that parents receive, and it explains what the child's achievement level is for ELA and also for the mathematics tests, meaning standard not met, standard nearly met, or standard met or standard exceeded. Those are our 4 levels of achievement, and what it means in terms of readiness for their college level courses. So for example, if a student falls into the standard met for mathematics, that means the student is conditionally ready for college level coursework. That student can then be exempt from the California State University's placement test and the Early Start program by taking an approved course and earning a grade of C or better. However, on the other hand, if the child scores standard not met in that category, excuse me, it means that they are not quite ready for college level coursework. So we've covered a lot of important information sort of about the nitty gritty of the test, who takes it, when they take it, et cetera. But we haven't talked about the most important thing yet, which is how our parents in Temple City Unified School District can help their children succeed. So we're encouraging our parents, we hope they watch tonight, but we will also be communicating through school newsletters and through our principals' coffees at the Coffee with the Principal to encourage their child to talk about what he or she is learning on a daily basis. That's such a wonderful practice to connect with your student. Also reviewing any homework that the student might have, what they are learning, reminding them to log into our district purchased tutoring program, which, as you know, is called PAPER and provides one-to-one tutoring for students at home or even at school. And it also helps them with writing their papers and practicing their skills. So our teachers are, of course, our most wonderful and important resource, and we encourage parents, if they have questions about how their student might score or how they can support their student more, to reach out to their student's teacher, to contact them via email. That's usually the preferred method for initial contact, and find out how you can support the student at home. In addition, we mentioned Iready before. We really strongly encourage that parents review the Iready scores that are provided to them. We encourage them always to observe their student in Canvas, to review tests and quizzes that may come home or be posted on Canvas. And like I mentioned before, if they aren't sure, to reach out to their child's teacher and just have a phone conversation or an email conversation to get more feedback. There's a few other ways that are really important regarding around CASP time. When it is time for testing, like we mentioned, we want our parents to talk to their students about the test, about their feelings about the test, but also to help them know that they know that testing is important, but it's not the most important part of their child. It is one piece of a whole child, and that the teacher uses that information, but also the information they gain throughout a year of learning with their teacher. If parents are interested, the California Department of Education also has developed practice and training tests, and they can access them from home on a computer. Anyone can look at the sample test questions and get familiar with how the questions are presented on the computer, how they can choose their answers. We mentioned dropping down and close passages and things like that. But one of the most important things that we want to emphasize to our parents and our community is that our students should be engaging in self-care, especially around the time of CASP, always, but really around CASP, they need to get a very good night's sleep. So making sure that you set a bedtime, maybe even a week ahead of CASP testing. And then also making sure that children are well nourished, sending them with a healthy lunch because they're usually hungry after they finish these tests to set them up for success.
We are just showing some extra resources. We have also put these sources on the CASP page on the TCUSD website for everybody's convenience. And with that, we'd like to now take any questions anyone may have for us.
Does anyone have questions? Members, Georgino?
You're muted.
Yeah. So just to refresh my memory, in 2020 we did not do this, correct?
That is correct.
And then what did we do last year?
We did not test as well. We used Iready data as our district data to compare students' progress.
I see. Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, let's move on to item number 22, discussion and presentation of A through G grant. Is that going to be Richard or is that going to be Christopher Holmes?
I'm not going to allow Richard to steal this one from me. No.
By the way, Chris, please, I want to make sure to recognize you in the work that you did to cover for Richard. We definitely appreciate your hard work. So thank you.
Thank you so much, President Espinoza. And it was a wonderful learning experience. I'm glad I was able to help. And I really much appreciate the support of the board during this time and actually my entire time being here. I did want to have the opportunity quickly to simply say thank you to the Ed Services team. They are an amazing group of individuals who do really wonderful work, as is evidenced by Scott and Amy's presentation. And I just wanted to have that moment to be able to say thank you to everybody in Ed Services. It was just a joy to work with that team. So I will now share my screen. The Temple City Unified School District has qualified to receive two separate components of the A through G completion grant. And there are two parts to qualifying to receive the funds that have already been allocated for our district. Step one is to present our plan in an open meeting. And then step two will be a follow-up similar to what we did with the Effective Educators Block Grant. So this is the A through G completion grant plan for the Temple City Unified School District. The A through G completion grant was established by the state of California to provide additional resources to school districts that will help increase the number of our students who graduate from high school with A through G eligibility. And A through G eligibility is the eligibility standard for our students to be entering into Cal State and UC schools. So you can say this is basically the standard to go to four-year universities. This grant must be utilized to focus on unduplicated pupils. So our students who are considered low income, our English learners, and our foster youth students, by increasing or improving services that will help improve their A through G eligibility. The Temple City Unified School District is projected to receive funding through two components of this grant program, the Access Grant and the Learning Loss Mitigation Grant. These funds are available for expenditure through the 25-26 fiscal year. And the total allocation for both components is $370,000. I'm sorry. Okay, so the first component, the learning loss mitigation, the first component, the Access Grant. We've been allocated $272,000 allocated through the Access Grant. And it's to help increase our overall A through G completion rate because it falls under 67%. From the dashboard and from the allocation report given to us, we are at 65.9% A through G completion rate. So we fall just under the qualifying percentage to receive these funds. These funds will be used to increase or improve services for unduplicated pupils. The following services with supplemental current efforts in place to support student success in A through G approved courses, expanding access to coursework to satisfy A through G course requirements, required to all students, not limited to unduplicated students, developing comprehensive advising plans and supports for our unduplicated pupils, and professional development opportunities for teachers, administrators, and counselors to improve the A through G completion rate. The anticipated outcome of the use of this grant is an increased A through G completion rate for our unduplicated population. The A through G completion rate is the primary outcome measure, which is reported annually on the California dashboard. Measures to monitor interim progress include, but are not limited to it, the analysis of the high school's master schedules to make sure that access is available to our students, grade checks of those students enrolled in A through G courses, and looking at the number of courses offered that are approved for A through G eligibility. The second component is the Learning Loss Mitigation Grant. Temple City Unified is projected to receive $102,086 to allow pupils who receive a grade of D, F, also known as fail, in an A through G approved course, either in the spring semester of 2020 or the entire 2020-2021 school year, so that they can retake those courses to receive that A through G credit. So it's addressing the impact directly of the COVID lockdown. Temple City Unified may also use grant funds to offer credit recovery opportunities to students to graduate high school on time. These funds will be utilized to supplement credit recovery programs with a priority for unduplicated pupils. This would include our summer course offerings. In fact, at this time, there are 2 classes for credit recovery currently at the high school. A decrease in the number of students who are not able to graduate on time is the anticipated outcome of the use of the Learning Loss Mitigation Grant. So what guides us? The plan for the A through G Completion Improvement Grant is aligned with the following goals described in the Temple City Unified Local Control Accountability Plan, known as LCAP. Goal 1, Temple City Unified School District will support high quality teaching and learning in the 21st century in the implementation of an articulated California standards-based curriculum, instruction, and assessment to ensure multiple pathways to college and career readiness for all students, TK through 12. And that is our plan, and that is my presentation of the plan, which is step 1 of the A through G grant requirement.
Thank you. We always like hearing news of grants that we qualify for. So thank you for that. And thank you for tying it back to the LCAP. All right, let's move on to item number 20. Oh, I'm sorry. Did anybody have questions for Chris? Okay, we'll move on to item number 23, Temple City Adult School Food Bank presentation by Mr. Westgate.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thank you, President Espinoza, board, district leadership, and the stakeholders that are still with us here. I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. And share sound. Okay. There we go. Are you guys able to see my screen there?
Yes. It's
okay,
a blue
good.
screen, right? It's a blue
yes,
screen.
Yes, there we go. Okay.
There.
Fabulous. I can't exactly see what you can see. I can hope that it goes well here. But okay, so I'm going to be talking to you guys, informing you about a couple of initiatives that are coming down the pike. One is called the California Community Schools Partnership Program, and one is called the Whole Schools Community and Child Program. And so they're slightly different, and I'm going to go through the details of them as we go through here. So the local control funding formula, LCFF, that we get our LCAP from, was developed through a social construct called subsidiarity. I hate that word. I never say it correctly. But basically what it means is that if you want decisions to be made that are most impactful, you ask the people that are impacted by those decisions. And so that's where the local control comes from. Governor Brown, when he was writing this, was expecting local governments and elected officials to make decisions for their local communities. After that, they then reorganized the California Adult Education Program with that same philosophy. They basically said that in order to get funds for adult education, you had to go through your local community college. So they required that we worked together with our community resources in order to get adult education funding. Then we had COVID-19. And COVID-19 really accelerated this process because we had a lot of interactions between community groups and public institutions in order to help for the greater good of all, to try to help with the world pandemic. California has now, in 2021 here, come out with the Community Schools Initiative. And the point is to kind of restructure schools' place within the community. And so really what they want is the schools to become the neighborhood hub for parent engagement and for the whole child services, and to kind of go back to the way we think of schools in like the 1950s, right? Where that was kind of the hub of the community. And so there are several articles here from different newspapers. It's really taking off. They have included a $3 billion grant from the state that was just released in 2021. $2 billion of that is to be used for implementation, $575 million for coordination grants, and $287 million for planning grants. And so the state is really hoping to kind of restructure and really help schools, help the community, which then helps the students, is what they're looking at. And so in traditional school settings, you have schools that are almost like isolated silos, and they work on education and they work on getting the kids to graduate and go to college, but they don't really address some of the larger issues that are affecting the students through community and things like that. So in community schools, you're looking at a whole child perspective, and you're working on coordinating supports through different agencies in order to help them succeed. And so it's a much more collaborative approach to schooling. The 4 pillars of the community school initiative here is the integrated student supports, the expanded and enriched learning time and opportunities, active family and community engagement, and collaborative leadership and practices. And LA County has put together a wonderful, like 42-page book on how to implement these things within Los Angeles County. So they're really getting on board to make this happen. On a national level, there is a program called the Whole School Community and Child that is being put out by the Center for Disease Control and the Association of Supervision, Curriculum and Design, which now has officially changed its name to ASCD, kind of like Kentucky Fried Chicken became KFC, right? So now they only go by letters, but they have come together to put out a very, very similar program that really complements and mirrors what California is doing as well. And so the Whole School Community and Child program is based on 10 pillars that we have listed here: physical education, physical activity, nutrition, environment services, health education, social emotional climate, physical environment, health services, counseling, psychological, social welfare, employee wellness, community involvement, and family engagement. And so as you can see, it's very similar between the national push and the California push. Basically, everybody's reading the same research and thinks it's all great stuff. So we at the DDSLC have been identifying community needs through the DDSLC and through the Temple City Community Adult Education. Of course, educational needs, training needs, employment needs, but we've also noticed that some of our students are dealing with food scarcity. And so we started working with local food banks to bring in some food for our students that are in need. And we literally just put it out and they're welcome to take it if they would like to. We've been working with Hearts of Compassion, and we're working with the Los Angeles Food Bank and a organization. And I'm going to have to apologize to Connie because I'm probably not going to say this right, even though she's taught me like 5 times how to say it. But the Csca, I think that's how you say it. It's one of the largest philanthropic organizations in the Asian community. And so we have begun working with these things to help solve these issues. And so we have been working with getting food for some of these things, and we've been supplying that food to other organizations. And so we've been providing it to churches, we've been providing it to other community organizations that have been creating one of the every Saturday from 9 to 11, we have been helping to provide food. This food bank set up with food delivery. So literally, we've been going with minivans, just filling it full of food and bringing it over. And at this particular time, they gave away over 350 pounds of cooked rice that day. They actually cook things as well and give meals to the families. And so we only see the need for this increasing with the cost of food prices rising and the economy and unemployment and the other stressors that are affecting our families. We're seeing that there seems to be an even greater need, and we're anticipating it's going to continue to grow. And so what we would like is the board to consider adopting these initiatives so that we can try to do a better job in serving our communities, and by doing so, therefore serving our students. So, any questions?
Is there a way to bring down the presentation, because I can't see?
Yeah, I can.
I'm sorry, Bob.
I can stop sharing.
Okay, great. Thank you.
There we
so
go.
much.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you. Does anyone have questions for Mr. Westgate? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Bob, for your presentation. And we will look at that for future agenda item.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
All right, you too. We will move on to the discussion action portion of the agenda with item number 24 under administration. Approval of the 2022-2023 Board of Education meeting calendar. That one's pretty straightforward. I don't think we need an explanation. It's just a listing of what we project our meetings dates to be for next year. Can we get a motion in a second?
So moved.
Okay, motion by member Smith, second. I'll second. All right, let's go ahead and move to the vote. Preferential vote from student board member Lee.
Yes.
Okay, member Smith,
Yes.
member Sneed,
Yes.
I'm a yes, and member Georgino.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. We'll move on to business services. Item number 25, adoption of resolution 2122-25, authorizing the interfund transfer of restricted monies. And can I get a motion for this one?
I move.
Okay, motion by member Sneed, second by member Georgino. Can we get Connie to maybe talk a little bit about this one?
Sure. Good evening, Board of Education. This resolution is required by County of Education. If the district want to transfer the funding from Fund 35 to Fund 40, this is the part of the requirement. Before I arrived at the district hired a consulting firm, has successfully applied state funding, and we have received the money. The state And funding to support the district facility always require a matching fund. And the district did use our Measure S as a part of matching fund. The project has been already finished, and then the project was totally funded by Measure S. Since we received a state facility money, logically that we will reimburse the Measure S portion of the advance. But unfortunately, the bond Measure S, the law regulation, disallow the district move any money to Fund 21, which is the fund that keep track is Measure S. So also Fund 35 has its own law regulation, which means that it will keep track of the future facility project. But the district has already finished the project. So it is more flexible for the district to move the fund from 35 to Fund 40. Those funds still only used for the district facility, but with more flexibilities. So we request the board to approve this resolution so that we can finish the fund transfer and we can start in the project as the board approved in the future.
Okay. Member Smith?
This came up during your second interim report meeting or two back. Is that right?
So this is, Matt, can you explain a little bit more?
There was some, during the audit, I guess it was the audit report, they identified that we charged some money to Measure S that should not have been charged.
Yes.
This is correct that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is the company we pay their consultant fee. That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, let's take the vote. Preferential vote from Student Board Member Lee?
Yes.
All right, I'm a yes. Member Georgino?
Yes.
Member Sneed?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
All right, this passes 5-0.
You didn't say you.
I did, I went first.
Oh.
But this, it's 4-0 passed.
I'm sorry, 4-0. You're right, you're right. Thank you. Okay, so that measure passes, that item passes 4-0. And we move on to 26A, which is approval of opening of a public hearing on 2021-22 Education Protection Account EPA spending plan. May I get a motion to open a public hearing?
Moved.
Motion by Member Smith, second by Member Georgino. And we'll go ahead and take a vote. Preferential vote from Student Board Member Lee.
Yes.
All right. Member Sneed.
Yes.
Member Georgino.
Yes.
Member Smith.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So that motion passes 4-0, and we are now in a public hearing. I guess, Connie, do you have some background on this one?
Yes. Back to November 6, 2012, the California voters passed Proposition 30. Proposition 30 basically increased the statewide sales tax rate for all the taxpayer, as well as the personal income tax rate for the upper income taxpayer. And the additional revenue collected by state, they are posted deposit in a separate state funding called the Education Protection Act. The school district, county office education, and charter school, statewide local education entity, they will receive the funding from this separate account. However, this separate account basically reduced the dollar by dollar for the LCFF allocation, which means that district did not receive additional funding because of this separate account. But the Ed Code did require that each year we conduct at the open board meeting, and we will submit the spending plan for this fund to the board, and we will make sure that the funding will not pay for the salary and benefit for the administrator, and we are required to post the spending plan on the district website. Normally, we will request the board to approve the spending plan earlier during the school year, but after arrived at district, I realized that this has not been taken care of. That's why we ask the board approval right now.
Okay. Do we have anybody from the public who would like to ask questions? Okay. How about board members? Do we have any board member questions? I had one. In reading the review, the document that's sent to the board on this topic, how do we make decisions about how that money is spent?
So because the edit code said that we know that the money we cannot spend on the administrator. So we are in the business of education. So we said it's appropriate to spend on all the personnel costs that relate to the instruction for all, as well as those employees who supported the students. So this is what most of school district did. What mainly is we will use this funding pay for the teachers, all the certificate employees' salary.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right, then let's go ahead and move to item number 26B, approval of closing of the public hearing on the 2021-22 Education Protection Account EPA spending plan. May I get a motion and a second? Motion by member Sneed, second by member Smith. Let's go ahead and move to the vote. Preferential vote from student board member Lee.
Yes.
Okay. Member Georgino.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Smith
Yes.
and member Sneed.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. The public hearing is now closed at 9:19, and I forgot to note that we opened it at 9:16. All right, we will move on to item number 26C, approval of the 2021-22 Education Protection Account EPA spending plan. That's just been explained by Connie. Do I get a motion and a second for that?
Move to approve.
Okay, motion by member Smith. Second.
I'll second.
By member Sneed. All right, let's go ahead and move to the vote. Preferential vote from student board member Lee.
Yes.
Okay, member Smith.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Georgino
Yes.
and member Sneed.
Yes.
All right, that motion passes 4-0. And we move on to item number 27, adoption of resolution 2122-26 and approval of the California Schools Healthy Air Plumbing and Efficiency CalShape Ventilation Program Grant Acceptance. May I get a motion and a second?
Move to approve.
I'll move.
Okay, so motion by member Georgino, second by member Smith. Connie, do you want to give some background on this one?
Sure. So this program is called CalShape, is established as Assembly Bill 8041. It actually provided funding for the district to address all the HVAC. And the district has applied the grant, and the tentative proposed award has been issued. In order for the district to receive actual dollar from this program, there's additional documentation such as the board approved resolution, as well as a signed grant agreement. We need to prove, sign, and upload the state website so that they can process the fundings. And our grant total is $305,787.60. And we will adjust the HVAC at Temple City High School as well as London Elementary School. There is a requirement for selection site. That's why these two school site was selected for this project.
Okay. And I know there was a huge AC issue earlier this year at the high school, so that's good news to hear. Does anyone have any questions for Connie? Yes, student board member Lee.
Hi, thank you, President Espinosa. Ms. Wu, I'm just wondering if all the funds that we're receiving from this grant are only being allocated to the HVAC at the high school and at Longden, or if there are any other projects that it's being allocated to?
That's a good question. So for this specific funding, yes, because there's a criteria for the application. So that's why we look at, we have a consultant look at all the school location at the district, and only this two side is subject to the application, is qualified to apply. And you bring another question that district-wide, other school side do has the HVAC need. And as you may recall that during the summer before I arrived, maybe around the time, right, the board approved the accessory one-time funding for the COVID related. And then in that plan, the board has approved set aside certain dollar amount to support the district HVAC. So we are strategically using multiple funding resources to support the various HVAC projects across the district.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and move to the vote. Preferential vote from Student Board Member Lee.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Member Sneed?
Yes.
Member Georgino?
Yes.
And Member Smith?
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0. And we move on to Educational Services, item number 28. Approval of consolidated application for the 2021-22, I guess, or 2021-22. And can I get a motion? In a second.
I'll move.
Okay, motion by Member Georgino, second by Member Smith. And
there's some words that fell off the agenda that are on the agenda report. So the motions actually should be to approval of consolidated application fall/winter report for 2021-2022.
oh, okay, yeah, that's not on my agenda. So thank you for that clarification. Okay, we have a motion and a second. And is Christopher Holmes going to talk about this one? Or is someone else going to talk about it?
Chris, can you give a brief update?
Yeah, so last week we completed the consolidated application. I want to give a special thanks to Marvin Lee in Business Services for his assistance. We took a lot of our financial data and compiled it to make sure that we were properly identifying our allocations and expenditures as it related to our title fundings. We do have an edit to make. We did get an email letting us know that there is, based on a change in the allocation formula, we have an edit that we have time until April 8th to go back into the report and make that change. And that's based on a change in the allocation formula that we received recently. So I'm not sure if Marvin or Connie wanted to speak to this as well.
Yeah, sure.
You're muted.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, actually the consolidated application is a teamwork, the collective relationship between the Ed Service and Dr. Froger and the Business Service Department. And this year is kind of a little bit unique because a lot of school districts will receive a lot of COVID one-time money. So which COVID one-time money, we try to use them for various supporting the education, especially learning loss mitigation. So I guess that not only Temple City, a lot of school district has a little bit more than usual carryover for the Title I. So we strategically look at how we reduce this carryover, or if we apply in the future, we may ask the waive. But the new allocation dollar amount will allow us to update our report, and we will submit accordingly after we readjust our report.
Okay, are there any questions? All right, let's move to the vote. Preferential vote from Student Board Member Lee?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Sneed?
Yes.
Member Georgino?
Yes.
I'm a yes. That motion passes 4-0. And we move on to our item number 29, approval of Temple City Early Learning Academy, approval of Temple City Early Learning Academy's curriculum. And may I get a motion and a second on this?
So moved.
Motion by member Smith, second by member
Second.
Georgino. All right, do we have any, just a brief synopsis of this?
So just in the last meeting, we did a presentation on the two curriculums as the two companies presented. And so we went through just a rubric to pick the final selection, and that's what you have to decide on this evening.
Okay, great. Any questions about that? All right, let's go ahead and move to the vote. Member Sneed?
Yes.
Student board member.
Sorry, Student Board Member Lee, sorry. Thanks for raising your hand, Student Board Member Lee.
No worries.
Preferential vote from Student Board Member Lee.
Yes.
Okay, Member Sneed?
Yes.
Member Georgino?
Yes.
Member Smith?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. That motion passes 4-0. We are making our way to opening up the Early Learning Academy, so congratulations. All right, let's move on to consent agenda, which is routine items approved by one motion and one vote unless a member of the board or audience requests that any item be reviewed and voted upon separately. Does anyone have anything that they would like to pull before the vote? Okay, all right. May I get a motion to approve the consent agenda? A motion and a
I'll
second.
move.
All right.
I'll move.
Motion by member Georgino, second by member Smith. Preferential vote, let's go to the vote. Preferential vote from Student Board Member Lee.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Member Georgino,
Yes.
member Smith,
Yes.
member Sneed,
Yes.
and I am a yes. That motion passes 4-0. We move on to board requests / comments, item number 37. Any comments from board members?
I forgot to congratulate Csca for you were in the concert last week, sitting there very quietly playing your violin. So another thing that you do so beautifully. So congratulations on another fine evening of music.
Thank you, Miss Sneed. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming to support us that night too.
Any other, member Georgino?
Yes, I've heard several comments tonight about end of the year activities. I was wondering if maybe we could get a list of those so that we can get them on our calendars and be able to make all of them, or as many as possible.
Absolutely, that would be really helpful.
Good idea.
Any other comments? All right, we will move on to item number 38, future agenda items. We have accelerated high school / college policy and then the dual immersion program. Anything else that we want to add there? All right, we will move on to item number 39, additional public comment on agendized, non-agendized items. Do we have any additional comments, public comment?
No, we didn't.
Okay. We move on to item number 40, which is to adjourn our meeting. Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved.
All right, motion by member Smith. I will second. And let's go ahead and go to the vote. Preferential vote from Student Board Member Lee.
Yes.
Okay, member Smith,
Yes.
member Sneed,
Yes.
member Georgino,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. That motion passes 4-0. We are adjourned at 9:32. And our next board meeting is April 27th, and it will be in person. And just want to wish everybody a wonderful spring break. and see you at our next meeting. Thank you. Good night.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you.